We're closing the gap, but you gotta do your part. Hey there, it's Chris Prefontaine with another Motivational Monday. And if you haven't heard me talk about the gap yet, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here because I think it's so super important. What I call the gap is a time period, unfortunately, in the real estate industry between when someone sees a video, sees a seminar, attends a seminar, goes through a course, and then the time it takes to do a deal. That gap is huge. Sometimes, quite frankly, others in the real estate industry, don't make it over the gap and get to the deal point. I know that for a fact because many of our associates doing deal after deal now came to us having spent tens of thousands on education, supposed education, and never completed a deal. 2 of our associates spent 6 figures, had spouses telling them don't ever do real estate again, and now they're having huge success. So this gap is an important discussion to have. Let me talk about a little bit more as it relates to you and why I said you got to do your part. When I talk about the gap, here's where you are now. It's different for all of you. Here's your ultimate goals. This gap is wide for some of you. Now, here are some things I want to talk about when I say you got to do your part. First of all, you got to trust the process. Whether you're following us, and I'm not so naive to think you have to follow us in real estate. There are all kinds of niches out there. But trust the process of the person you're following, and hopefully they're in the trenches like us and they know what the heck they're doing. So that's number 1, trust the process. Number 2, stop lying to yourself. I know that's not a good one to digest right now, but let me tell you what I mean by that. If the gap is from here to here, some people are right here in the middle and they're ready to go. Some people way in the end, they have a few more things to do. Be honest with where exactly you are. I'll give you one example without using a name. We have an associate who, when they joined us, had very clear and concise goals. I love that. So that was a good start. They were coachable. That's a good start. But I said to them, your biggest challenge is going to be you've never made more than 40 or 50 grand in your life. Never. And that's okay. But your biggest challenge to get you through this gap is not going to be us teaching you skill level. We teach everybody the same skill level. Your challenge is going to be mindset-wise and developmentally and psychologically getting to the point where you can earn 100,000, 500,000, $1 million. That's a process. That doesn't happen overnight. You don't jump from 50 to $1 million. Sorry to say, but you don't do that. So be honest with where you are right now. You may be stuck in some areas that others aren't, and you may be mastering other areas, but be okay with that in the middle of that gap area. Thirdly, what will you do differently? So I just said that person had to learn different mindset things and different things related to money. What is it for you based on where you are? Be honest with yourself about that. The 4th thing is managing debt. Now, this could be a whole other video, guys, but managing debt, I mean this. I talked about it recently at our QLS Live event. In order for you to get through this gap, you've got to put the debt, and I mean crappy debt, and I'll define that in a minute, behind you. How do you do that? You stay with your job, or you grind it out with the job and getting deals done with us until such time you can get rid of old debt. See, I know what it's like to have a steamroller behind you, feeling like a steamroller is behind you and you're running and running and running, because I had debt prior to the '08 crash and coming out of the '08 crash. Now I don't, and the decision process is entirely different. So you've got to get rid of that. Now, there's crappy debt and there's good debt. What's crappy debt? Cars, high interest debt, high interest credit cards. You know where I'm going with crappy debt. What's good debt? Investing in you. So I went out after that crappy time in the crash of '08 and I found partners and I found ways to get into mastermind groups and other things. That's good debt because you're going to develop your mindset, you're going to develop your skills, and you're going to go out and create deals. And when you're talking about 3 paydays equaling 75 grand for us, but a low of 45 and a high of 125 grand per deal, you're talking about it's quite worth it to have good debt. So make sure you define that and manage that properly. And then understand that when you're in this gap, you're going to create all kinds of, because of what we just talked about, all kinds of new challenges, new problems, new speed bumps. Welcome them. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. In Ray Dalio's book called Principles, he gets your mindset around welcoming that stuff. So if you get a problem or a curveball or a challenge, say, great, I'm learning. I'm progressing through the gap, and be okay with that. At the very beginning, when I said trust the system, give yourself at least 36 months. I've said this in almost every video. 36 months. Now, you're going to do a deal sooner than that. Yeah, probably. You might do 6 months. You might go 12 months if you've got a lot to work through here. But be okay with 36 months. And if you are, and you're able to put the blinders on, not look left, right, or backwards for 36 months and follow us or whatever mentor you're following, you will have a phenomenal experience. And then before I wrap this up, I encourage you to write 3 things down in your journal. If you don't have one, you should have one, but at least put it down on a piece of paper for now. And that is, what would it take to whatever your goals are. Who must I become to, wherever your goals are? So that was that person I was talking about, that had to get to that person to be able to make that kind of money. And lastly, wouldn't it be cool if, and then explore here. Don't limit yourself based on your past. Your past is history. Wouldn't it be cool if you fill in the blank? And that this will keep you somewhat focused to get through all this crap and all the jumps you have to do to get through the gap. I hope that helps you guys. If you have questions related to that or you want to explore this further, either email support@smartrealestatecoach.com, or you could jump on our monthly Wicked Smart Sit Down, which is the third Thursday of every month, and say, hey, I saw this video about the gap and I have this challenge, or I have this challenge. I'm happy to help you. We do live coaching for you. 45 minutes, all about you, whether 2 of you show up or 100 of you show up. Third Thursday of the month, Wicked Smart Sit Down. I look forward to seeing you there.